Hello everyone, it's Animation. Welcome back to some more Omnifactory. This time we got oil to be processed and we got to figure out how the heck we do that, and it looks like this. I already figured it out. It's still real complicated. So the idea is you start with some raw oil. This is regular oil. You'd get this from oil sands. That's going to be our main source. You can also use the oil drilling rig. Some drilling fluid, get some oil that way. But the big thing we're going to use is oil sands because that's pretty abundant right now. It gets you a bucket of oil. With that, you throw it straight into the distillation tower. We do have other oils. We have some light oil that we got from that pocket. You can do the same thing with this. Just throw it in the distillation tower. You'll get the same products, just in different quantities. So all oils will be going through this tower. Oil, light oil, heavy oil, raw oil. They'll all use this tower. All the same thing. You get 4 products from that. You get sulfuric light fuel. You get sulfuric heavy fuel. You also see the names up here when I shift. Sulfuric naphtha and sulfuric gas. You throw those in a chemical reactor with hydrogen. We do need to make hydrogen. So we need a hydrogen production because this uses a lot of hydrogen. And you get, instead of sulfuric fuels, you get just regular, light, heavy, naphtha, and refinery gas. You also get a byproduct of hydrogen sulfide, which you toss back into an electrolyzer to get some of the hydrogen back, but not all of it. Like a third of it back, I think. So once you have the fuel, you have to, I guess, crack the fuel. So you chemical react it with steam, and that gives you the equivalent cracked fuel, cracked light fuel, cracked heavy fuel. They specify steam cracked naphtha and steam cracked refinery gas. These are all just with steam. You can also crack it with hydrogen. It gives you different products at the end. I think steam's going to be the better option. Like I don't think. Now I want to look. We look at the cracked heavy fuel, so we know its products. If you look at hydro cracked heavy fuel, you only get less. You get less things. You get a subset of this. This is the full set. So you get the fuels: cracked light, cracked heavy, steam cracked naphtha, steam cracked refinery gas. Those go into the big tower, and they give you 5 to 11 products. So these 3, interestingly enough, give you the same 9 products back here. These are the same 9 things, but the first 2 things are the other 2 fuels. So light fuel will give you heavy fuel and naphtha. Heavy fuel will give you light fuel and naphtha will give you light and heavy. Those are these first 2. So they just get sent back around and in. And you're left off with toluene, benzene, butene, butadiene, propane, propene, ethane, ethylene, and methane. I think the one we specifically want is one of these 2, I think. I'm pretty sure it's one of these 2 that is like why we're doing all this. Because we already have toluene. I'm pretty sure we already have benzene. We definitely already have ethylene and methane. The refinery gas does something a little different. It gives you, some of them, gives you propane, ethene, ethylene, methane. It also gives you helium, which we also have an alternate source for. So, sure. It'll just be processed like everything else. It's fine. And that's really it. The hard thing it's going to be to do, the hard thing to do is going to be to make sure we don't back up on fluids, because we have 4 different distillation tower recipes here, but only 1 really tall distillation tower. I could make 4, but that's a lot of space. I don't really want to make that much space. So we're not going to do it like that. But I think all the fuels are processed by the bucket. So a single bucket is processed in the tower at a time. And also you craft buckets at a time. So whatever is going on will finish a bucket. That bucket will get sent into the tower. If something else like also finishes, then they'll kind of queue up by entire buckets. It should never run out that way, I think. Hopefully. What's one that's probably just this? No. That's the theory. I'm hoping the theory is right, because otherwise I have a lot more towers to build. So let's take this crazy fluid lineup and get to work. All right, I threw together a nice, super basic setup. Nice and basic. It's not entirely done, but it's a starting point. It's all going to start upstairs, where we'd put in our oil sands. It would get electrolyzed and then dumped down to this floor, where all we have is this big old tank. 5632 buckets of oil sands can go here. I don't have that much oil sands, but you know, better to just have it. Going to be focusing on regular oil, not like heavy or light. Just simplify it for right now. We obviously could send other things through this, but we'll worry about that later. That just gets drained straight down and put into this first distillation tower. It breaks into heavy oil, light oil, naphtha, and refinery gas. Sulfuric of each of those. Extracted on green, brown, blue, and purple. Inserted here on green, brown, blue, and purple. From here, it's just kind of a straight, 4 straight lines across. We got the hydrogen, which was also upstairs. I meant to show that. Which is going to be extracted into these, along with the fluids, which I'm going to put those to orange. These are just acting as a little extra buffer, so if I'm processing a lot of oil. Drop into here. Reacted. We'll pull out the sulfuric stuff and process that back into hydrogen. We'll do that somewhere else, but that's where that's going to go. Buffer tanks here for heavy, light, the basic fuels, because when we get stuff from this, we want to send some of these back into these. So there's the buffer for that. We got steam coming from the system. It's going to go into here to crack the fuel, drop it into here, and all of these just get pulled out and dumped in the really big, tall, 11 high tower. It's 12 high, but 11 layers of product, 11 layers of fluid products. And we don't have that going anywhere yet. So we start up here. We just drop the oil sands into this. They're extracted. Get the oil out. I'm gonna have to do a lot of like little tweaks as we go, because a lot of stuff's not gonna be turned on to extract mostly. It does the oil pretty darn quick. Then we tell this. Oh, actually, you know what I forgot? You don't have enough power running to these. And it's going. It is processing the oil. I think it does. How many buckets does it do at a time? It's 3 buckets at a time. So it's still pretty slow, honestly. That's gonna take a real long time. 96 EU per tick takes a minute. All right, so from here, that should process automatically. Yep, everything got pulled. Just straight because we don't need filters. This next part, though, we are going to need to do some stuff. Let me tell this to start pulling hydrogen. Hydrogen coming in. It should just go. Oh, wait, we need like a ton of these fuels, don't we? Yeah, 16 buckets of this fuel, and then which one's going to come first? Got 2 there. Got 6 light fuel. Ooh, need 12 of that. Not much heavy fuel. I think light fuel's going to process first. Oh, there it goes. That one's not quite there. I need buckets. All right, so we got light fuel, we got hydrogen sulfide. I need to get buckets of each of these so we can put them in the filters and tell everything where to go. Tell that you go here. I can also put it in there. Then we have to do, each of these is going to need to be done manually because it's just kind of a big grid of fuels. You're the light fuel. Done. That one's not there yet. Not there yet. We got refinery gas. You are the refinery gas spot. Done. So we should be able to tell both of these to now always extract. And these tanks should fill up with their stuff. Oh, that's not right. They don't all have filters yet, so it went to the wrong thing sometimes. Okay. Well, that stinks. We tell you your heavy fuel. And this now has 3.6k buckets, which need to be pulled out and put in the right spot. Oh, you're done. You're done. We got the blah blah. We got the Nabstablook. Goes there. Now everything can extract. Heavy fuel, light fuel, naphtha, refinery gas. Cool. Next stage of the process, we have to turn on the steam extraction. We get steam flowing to each of these. Cool, cool. I don't think the chemical reactors let multiple things occupy multiple slots. So the steam and hydrogen aren't going to go in multiple slots here, which is really convenient, actually. Now we just tell all these to extract. I specifically used regular pressurized conduits because I want to see the colors. I want to see all the stuff flowing through them. With these ender conduits, you don't see that. All right, so we get cracked heavy fuel, and that just gets extracted. Very nice. All right, so we got cracked heavy fuel. We got cracked light fuel. We got steamed cracked naphtha. We got refinery gas. I can also right click them and you can see them. Actually have quite a bit of each already. 7, 16, 11, 17 buckets. It's pretty good. So all these are hooked up to the same line. And as you can see, we have a full bucket multiple of each, essentially. Because they get processed in whole buckets. So we're just going to pull everything on that line down into... Could have made this one higher so I can actually get in here. The bottom here. This input hatch. So let's do that. Which do I have the most of? I have the most of the cracked light fuel. So we will extract that one first. And this will turn on. It runs pretty fast. And it goes to the final products. Heavy fuel. Is stuff extracting? It is. What the heck? I didn't tell these. Never active. Why? Like, it just worked. Cool. But it didn't work exactly how I wanted because this is naphtha, which is supposed to go back around into those barrels down there, but I didn't set that up yet. I mean, cool though. It just worked. But heavy fuel, light fuel, and naphtha needs to be dealt with separately. Okay. It's all hooked around. Got all the filters. Like 14 filters I added. This is where the helium goes. Heavy fuel. So I got a bunch more oil to process. But things are starting to back up. The biggest bottleneck is just extracting steam. Actually, no, the biggest bottleneck looks like it's this fluid bus. There we go. So bottleneck is still how long it takes the pipe to get steam into here, but that should definitely speed it up some. We got quite a lot of everything. And guess I just tell everything to extract now, right? Like I'm so worried that something's gonna mess up. I don't know how, but something's gonna mess up. think all that's going to happen though is it's going to kind of focus on one fluid. So if we have this drum empty, if I turn this one on to extract, it's going to start doing heavy fuel. Once the heavy fuel's gone, it's going to go to whatever drum's next because there's going to be fluid in there. It's going to be taking up space. So I'm going to turn this to extract. It's going to start extracting. We're going to start building up cracked light fuel. And in theory, this should just now be processing heavy fuel and have no issues with that at all. In theory. Yeah, I got 57 processes of heavy fuel to go through. And the extra will come back around to these drums here. Yeah. I think. Well, we've 48 buckets to go through before we know for sure. But I think that's just going to work. I think we are done processing the oil sands. We're done processing the oil sands. Got 208 left in the tank to go through. It's kind of weird that 208 buckets of this becomes like 40 buckets of this and 45, but like it's a lot of stuff that comes out of this. No wasting. It's idling. Why are you idling? 16 buckets of cracked heavy fuel. Is something not extracting? Empty, 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 empty. So all, oh, you know, it's probably the item slot. Yeah, I forgot to do something with the solids. Well, now that we've done all the things, I'm actually processing through the naphtha. So both of these completely drained. They're all just set to extract now, so this should go through just fine. Now that we have all the things, I'm working on making some storage buses, fluid storage buses, so we can access these fluids from the ME system. That's what the space in the back is for. But I'm being lazy, so let's wait on that. We're gonna look at the quest book and see how many quests I just skipped by doing it all automated. We need a bucket of all the fuels. That's going to be an issue because I don't think I have the sulfuric versions as buckets. Actually, I might. Oh yeah, I do because they process in like big batches. Just get a bucket of each. Come on. Also, I figured out why we're getting so much fluid. 3 buckets of oil ends up becoming like 8 buckets of products. So you get way more than just that. Okay, so we did that. Dump those back into there. All right, now that we have that stuff going, how to make the styrene? I already forgot. I have to make styrene, which is real easy. Benzene and ethylene, those are the two. So we get some of this benzene. Get some, not ethane. Ethylene. Throw them in here. Quick 16 buckets of styrene. You really don't need that much styrene. I'll take the hydrogen and throw it back in the system. It's actually a lot of hydrogen out of that. It's a decent source of hydrogen. So you got the styrene. Now we need the butadiene. Butadiene. And then oxygen. The styrene, the butadiene. And then a big old tank of oxygen. I won't use the full tank though. Got a 50 tank of oxygen, which triples the output over air. That goes there. I don't know if this needs a bigger reactor. It does not. I was gonna say it didn't make anything, but it makes items that drop out here. Cool. I just gotta keep this stocked with oxygen pretty much. Look at all the pulp. Well, it's dust, but you get the idea. I'm gonna just send the rubber here. Full tanker rubber. Okay, so let's take a look at what we need here. This is the module that we're going for. I believe we need to make 2 of them. They take 2 motors each. So we have to make 4 of these. We'll just focus on one module, so 2 right now. I think we can do this. I think that's everything. I do want to put some speed upgrades in here because been doing stacks a thing that's going to take a while. Ah, it's going. Takes a really long time though. A 1 LUV electric motor. Need a bunch more. That's kind of the process. I think what's going to happen. I want to set this up to autocraft, right? The way I have it, I just dump things in here and they get distributed to the 11 slots. There's a concern though of a race condition where one thing starts and something else starts, but they can't finish until they both have full control. So when we made the tier 7 circuit, that used 9 slots. And then when we just made the motor here, that used 7 slots. So if they were to both start at the same time and throw their items into this chest at the same time, half the slots would go to the other one. Would go to one, half the slots would go to the other, and neither would finish because they don't have enough slots. That's something I want to avoid. I'm not sure how to do that though. Without making like multiple of these things, which I don't want to do. This thing keeps flicking off. I have no idea what's using this much power. They're low on power. I put that there and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, all the power in the world. 74 seconds to lay that down at 8 U per tick. That's awful. So the way this should work is I have the recipe in there. I already made these 2, but it's kind of redundant now. If I say make an LUV conveyor, it's got a lot of crafting it's got to do, mainly with lots of HSSG. I'm going to craft a bunch of these rounds. I'm sure they take a real long time. It's done 1. Done 2. That's very long. I need a better laid setup. I think I upgraded it to HV at some point. Oh, that's still so slow. So I will say it does seem to not push to this chest until it's ready with everything, which is good. And everything just appears right away. So that tells me it might actually be possible to do everything in here. If I have this pulling items out fast enough, like get rid of this, put another item conduit here, max out the speed upgrades on both of them. Each of them are pulling out a stack. They can drain everything here in 5 operations worth. I think it might be doable to just have it done in here. It really should be pretty instantaneous once I dump them in here. Well, I didn't tell this one to extract, so that's as fast as you're gonna get. And nothing's happening. It's already finished. Not already finished. Oh, you know what I need? I need this is another reason why this is kind of awful. I need a configuration 1 in here. So yeah. Very manual process. Configuration 1 that is of course not consumed. So I'm gonna put some recipes straight in. Anything that doesn't have a configuration, I'm just gonna put straight in. I think it's fine. And the conveyor ones we will keep on this alternate. Now the harder one. Robot arms. Got the recipes in. Let's see how it works. We got all the things. It takes a lot of circuits. It takes two tier 6s. But we got everything. Hooray. Pink arm. Interesting new thing we got to make. We need niobium titanium. So we got this niobium ore from the tier 2 miner. And we got to break that down. Pulverize it. I'll probably just pulverize it twice. And blast furnace that. Vacuum freeze it. Blast furnace it with titanium. Vacuum freeze it again. And then wire mill. Most complicated machine yet. Advanced Assembling Machine 5. Whew. Finished. Finished all the processing. Dang. Cool. Anyway, that's gonna have to end off the episode here. We are well out of time. We got stuff. This entire building was today, and now we have the advanced assembly machine, so we can do better circuits and probably make another assembly line at some point. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.